Hello, and welcome to Subject Baseball, the podcast where I talk all things baseball because the subject is baseball. Today, our lecture is everything you need to know about the WBC, the World Baseball Classic. Before we get into it, I have a couple little talking points. I'd also like to say that I tried to get this episode out earlier than today, but the spreadsheet that I'm going to be reading from of all the players, I left at my job. I printed it, and then, like a fool, I left it in the printer. So I had to wait a day until I was able to record. But let's just hop right into my little yapping points. So I have been watching the Red Sox spring training, trying to figure out the guys who I'm excited to be watching on opening day, that kind of thing, just getting hype. Also, baseball spring training is getting me out of my little seasonal depression. It was a long, cold couple of months without baseball, but now I have something to look forward to every single day, and I can go back to being my annoying little self. So that's fantastic, especially for my friends and family. The first thing I want to talk about is I made a silly little TikTok, and if anyone knows anything about TikTok, it's that the videos that you put all this effort into get like 100 views, and then the videos that you make in 2 seconds, don't even think about it, record, post, throw your phone in the back of the car, like those videos, those are the ones that pop off. And that's exactly what happened to me. I made a video where I put my stupid little Red Sox shoe on my head and lip sync to some recording. I'll play the TikTok here.
There's a new My Little Pony movie coming out in 5 weeks.
How excited are you?
That was my video. It was just me, like, fake screaming at the camera that baseball was on again. And it blew up. It's got like 30-something thousand views and likes. Not all of the views are likes, but whatever. And the MLB liked and commented on it. This stupid little TikTok reached the literal MLB account. And their comment said real. Like, oh, that's so real kind of thing. So that kind of confirmed in my brain that this social media's account is run by like a 20-something-year-old. But what the heck, guys? That is not, I didn't ask for that. I really would have rathered any other of my TikTok videos to reach them except for that one. But unfortunately, here we are. My second talking point is that I made a little TikTok the other day. Here I go again with the TikToks. I made another one of like, get ready with me to watch a spring training game that I turn productive. So like while I'm watching the game, I'm taking score in my little scorebook. I'm also editing and like taking notes for actually this podcast that I'm recording right now. But so that's what I do when I watch games. I make it a little productive. And so I made that video. Duran hit two 2-run home runs during that game. That was just so exciting because now it meant that I got to talk about it on the podcast because I was taking notes, and that's one of the notes. Anyway, just a little shout out to him. The next thing, though, was the Roman Cedon collision. If you are not a Red Sox fan, you might not know what I'm talking about. Roman Anthony and Cedon Rafaela. At the time, Roman was playing in left field, and Cedon is our right fielder. They collided. They were both staring at the sun, trying to catch the ball. They ran into each other. They like clipped knees, but then when they fell, they were both like holding their arms. So I'm not really sure what happened, but that was a really scary moment because Cedon is our Golden Glover. He just won a Golden Glove award last season, so he's fantastic. He makes all these like crazy jumps and catches, and Roman is projected to be like this big stud first hitter in the lineup kind of athlete. We cannot have them go down. If those two went down, I fear that the Red Sox Nation would be screwed, at least for this season. There's a couple people that could like carry the slack, but just of how much these two are projected to carry our team, that would have been really, really bad. Really bad. But they got up. They sat on the ground for a hot minute, like a little longer than necessary, and I think that may be the boys being babies when it comes to being hurt kind of thing. But they got up. They played the rest of the game. They were fine. So, thank you, Lord, for that one. My final little yap point is that, again, Red Sox focused. We have Caleb Durbin and Marcelo Meyer, who are both supposed to play third base, but then we've recently been having Meyer play second base. And then Cora came out with a statement saying that the team kind of wanted to see if Meyer was going to, chase after the opportunity to play third base. So we've got this problem of who's going to play third base. Is it Durbin or is it Meyer? For a long time last season, before he was injured, it looked like Meyer was going to swap in and out with Bregman on third base. So going into the season, when we don't have Bregman, it was like hey, here's your third baseman, Meyer. He's all back from surgery. He's healed up. He's ready to get back in the game. They didn't play him for the first week of spring training games. And then they did. And when they did, he hit a home run. So this kid is clearly chasing after the opportunity. So I don't really know. It's kind of a big question mark. I don't know. Caleb's really good. And he kind of looks like a family friend of mine, so I do cheer for him based on the fact that he looks like a family friend of mine. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Our team, there's so many things up in the air. We still have 4 outfielders. There's still a possibility of a trade. It's a little scary, a little spooky. Let's get into the WBC, the reason that you all clicked on this episode. Hopefully. I hope you're not clicking on the episode because I make a fool of myself. The World Baseball Classic, the WBC. This, in short, is the Olympics for baseball. And yes, you might be saying, baseball is in the Olympics. It's an Olympic summer sport. And you would be correct. However, this specifically is only baseball. Only baseball. So the little history behind it is that it started in 2006, and it most of the time happens every 3 years, maybe every 4 years. There's only been 6 of them. 2006, 2009, 2013, 2017, 2023, and now in 2026. Japan won in 26, 29, and 2023, and then the Dominican Republic won in 2013, and the United States won in 2017. So it happens, maybe every 4 years. The math is a little off. It was started so that the game could grow internationally. That was the whole idea. We have the MLB in America, but then there's all these other independent leagues. And so the goal of this tournament is to bring all of the leagues together to play for teams that represent different countries, and the countries would then play against each other. This year, there will be no ABS system, the automatic ball strike system, in the WBC, because not all of the guys from the different leagues have had time to get used to it and using it. So the minors have been using the ABS system for a while now. This year, it's being implemented in spring training and will be used in the MLB, but it will not be used in the WBC because not everyone has grown accustomed to it. There are 4 pools of teams that will play against each other in this tournament, so 5 teams in each pool. The pools are, there's Pool A playing in San Juan, Puerto Rico. The teams are Puerto Rico, Cuba, Canada, Panama, and Colombia. Pool B is playing in Houston, Texas, Mexico, USA, Italy, Great Britain, and Brazil. Pool C is playing in Tokyo. It's Australia, Japan, Republic of Korea, the Chinese Taipei, and Czechia. And then there's Pool D, which is playing in Miami, Florida. The teams are Venezuela, Dominican Republic, Israel, the Netherlands, Nicaragua. The teams play exhibition games from the 2nd to the 4th of March, and then the official games start on the 5th. All of the games played in the Tokyo pool are a day ahead of us if you're listening to this from America. Houston and Miami will then host the quarterfinals, and Miami is where the semi-championship will be held and the final championship game. The country teams chosen to participate were qualifiers from the 2023 event and the teams that advanced through the 2025 WBC qualifiers. The 2025 WBC qualifiers were Colombia from Pool A, Brazil from Pool B, the Chinese Taipei from Pool C, and Nicaragua from Pool D. This pool play reference means that each team will play each other one time, and the best percentage of wins will advance, and then it will be single elimination style from then on. There is a pitch clock, so pitchers will have 15 seconds to throw the ball when there's no runners on base and 18 seconds to throw the ball when there is a runner on base. In this tournament, the pitchers have a pitch limit. So they get 65 pitches in the first round, they get 80 pitches in the finals, and then 95 pitches in the championship. If they have more than 30 pitches, then they automatically get the next day of rest. If they have more than 50 pitches, then they get a minimum of 4 days of rest. So it's a little bit of a navigation trying to figure out who you want to start with and when you want to take them out of the game to reserve them, because you have to figure out what games you might want them to play. If you think you have a better pitcher against Japan, then you're going to want to hold him off until you play against Japan rather than use him up the first couple of days to better your chances, kind of thing. Does that make any sense? I hope that makes sense. There are also mercy rules. So if you have more than 10 runs by the 7th, you win. And if you have more than 15 runs in the 5th, you will also win. So who can play for these teams? How do you get on Team Mexico? Or how do you get on Team Czechia? If you were born in the country, or you are a citizen or a permanent resident, you can play. If you have a parent who was born or is a citizen, then you can play. If you are eligible for citizenship in the country, then you can play. Or if you were previously on the WBC roster for that team, then you can play again for that team. There's been a lot of conversations about who has lineage from what and if you've passed lineage testing. I know Great Britain offered Aroldis Chapman a spot. Unfortunately, he did not pass the lineage test, so he is not playing for them. But then there's also people like Randy Arozarena, who is from Cuba, but became a Mexican citizen, and so he can play for the Mexico team. There's also a reserve of up to 6 pitchers per team that can be called up after the first round, so that you can replace up to 4 of your pitchers after the first round of playing and up to 2 of your pitchers after the quarterfinals. I know there was an incident where Puerto Rico was playing against the Boston Red Sox, and they called one of our Red Sox to pitch for them. So he was pitching against his own team during this game. It was an exhibition game. He was pitching against his own team. He was on the mound in his Red Sox uniform, pitching to his Red Sox teammate, but he was doing it for Puerto Rico. I'm not sure if that's the reserve pitching that they're talking about, or if that was just a, hey, he can play for us, we're going to call him up. But that was probably definitely a first in this situation. Speaking of exhibition games, I'm going to run through the scores of the games that were played on March 3rd and March 4th, when it was the WBC teams playing against other MLB teams. You throw a bunch of the guys together for a country team, they have no idea how they work together, so we play these exhibition games against MLB teams who are also trying to figure out how to work together during spring training. So it's a no harm, no foul game to figure out how these guys play together and what the best strategy is going into the tournament. On March 3rd, Puerto Rico won 5-3 against the Red Sox. The Pirates won 7-1 against Colombia. The Netherlands won 8-5 against the Orioles. The Yankees won 11-1 against Panama. The Blue Jays won 10-7 against Canada. Israel won 1-0 against the Marlins. The Nationals won 6-3 against Nicaragua. The Athletics won 14-4 against Brazil. The Royals won 4-0 against Cuba. Italy won 9-4 against the Cubs. The US won 15-1 against the Giants. Great Britain won 7-3 against the Brewers. Mexico 6-3 against the Diamondbacks. The Dominican Republic won 12-4 against the Tigers. And the Astros won 3-1 against Venezuela. On the 4th, the Dodgers won 7-5 against Mexico. The US won 14-4 against the Rockies. The Nationals won again 5-1 against Venezuela. Canada won 5-3 against the Phillies. The Braves won 9-1 against Colombia. The Netherlands won 11-8 against the Rays. Nicaragua won 2-1 against the Cardinals. The Tigers won 2-1 against Panama. Puerto Rico lost 3-6 against the Twins. The Mets won 5-2 against Israel. The Dominican Republic tied 4-4 against the Tigers. The Rangers won 13-2 over the Brazil team. The Reds won 19-2 against Cuba. Great Britain tied 2-2 against the Padres. And the Angels beat Italy 4-3. Now I'm going to run through a list of players. So I'm going to sort these by country team. If you go to the MLB website, they have the players sorted by MLB team of who's playing for what country. So if that makes more sense in your brain, go ahead. But this is how my brain makes more sense of it. And I figured if you're wanting to root for a country team, this is your research to know who's on the team. And then if you're wanting to figure out where your MLB team guys are, that resource is out there on the MLB website. The countries are going to be listed alphabetically. And if you're watching the YouTube, I know that it splits it up into like little sections so you can skip ahead to your section. On the Australia team, we have Max Durrington, the infielder from the Athletics. Travis Bazzana from the Guardians, he's the second base player. Kalen Hampson from the Orioles, a pitcher. The Phillies also have a pitcher on Australia. His name is Mitch Newborn. Blake Townsend is a pitcher from the Rangers. Kai Winnard is another pitcher from the Rangers. And then Curtis Mead from the White Sox, the first base player. Brazil has Lucas Ramirez from the Angels. He's an outfielder. Pedro de Costa Lemos from the Mariners. He's a pitcher. The Phillies have a pitcher named Gabriel Barbosa. Petro Albanez is from the Pirates. He's also a pitcher. And Daniel Misaki is from the Rangers. He's another pitcher. Team Canada has pulled a lot of guys. We're going to start with Denzel Clark from the Athletics, their center fielder. Adam Mako from the Blue Jays. He's a pitcher. Tyler Black and Rob Zantrinsky from the Brewers. Tyler's a third base player and Rob is a pitcher. Jameson Taillon from the Cubs. He's a pitcher. Indigo Diaz from the Diamondbacks and Michael Soroka from the Diamondbacks are both pitchers. Bo Naylor is the catcher for the Guardians. Matt Wilkinson is the pitcher for the Guardians. Josh Naylor from the Mariners is their first base player. Owen Casey from the Marlins is a right fielder. Liam Hicks from the Marlins is their catcher. And Otto Lopez from the Marlins is their second base player. There's also Jared Young from the Mets, their left fielder, Micah Ashman from the Orioles, their pitcher, and Tyler O'Neill, the right fielder, also from the Orioles. The Padres have a pitcher named Carter Lowen. The Rangers have a pitcher named Cal Quantrill. Antoine Jean from the Rockies, he's a pitcher. Edouard Julien from the Rockies, he's a second base player. Eric Sarantola from the Royals is a pitcher. And last but not least, Abraham Toro from the Royals is a first base player. Next, we have the Chinese Taipei. Wei Inlin is from the Athletics. He's a pitcher. Su Chen Cha from the Athletics is also a pitcher. Chen Zhong Aoziong is from the Athletics. He's another pitcher. Jonathan Long from the Cubs is a first base player. Yu Min Lin from the Diamondbacks is a pitcher. Stuart Fairchild from the Guardians is a right fielder. Po Yu Chen from the Pirates is a pitcher, and Hao Yu Lee from the Tigers is a second base player. I apologize if I mispronounce any of these names. Next up, Colombia. Gustavo Campero from the Angels is an outfielder. Brian Buelvas from the Athletics is a center fielder. Reaver San Martin from the Giants is a pitcher. Diane Frias from the Guardians is a third base player. Michael Arroyo from the Mariners is a shortstop. Julio Zuingia from the Mariners is a pitcher. Sean Lennon from the Nationals, a pitcher. Austin Bergner from the Rangers is a pitcher. Nabil Krismat from the Rangers is another pitcher. Tayron Guerrero from the Red Sox is a pitcher. David Lourdois from the Reds is a pitcher. Jorge Alfaro from the Royals is a catcher. Gio Urshela from the Twins is a third baseman. Next up, we have Cuba. Yohan Moncada from the Angels is a third base player. Francis Tuxedo from the Angels is a pitcher. Yariel Rodriguez from the Blue Jays is a pitcher. Yiddy Cap from the Marlins is a shortstop. Daviel Hurtado from the Mets is a pitcher. Nikel Cruz from the Orioles is another pitcher. Emmanuel Chapman from the Pirates, a pitcher. Alexander Vargas from the Reds is a shortstop. Omar Hernandez from the Royals is a catcher. There are no MLB players on the Czechia team. Next up, we have the Dominican Republic team, which seems to be made up almost entirely out of MLB guys. There are a lot of names, so hold on tight. Jeremy Pena from the Astros is a shortstop. 2 pitchers from the Athletics, Elvis Alvarado and Luis Severino. The first baseman from the Blue Jays is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Abner Uribe from the Brewers is a pitcher. We have a second base player, Ketel Marte, a shortstop, Gerardo Perdomo, and a first baseman, Carlos Santana, all from the Diamondbacks. Joe Pergrio from the Giants is a pitcher. Luis Castillo from the Mariners is another pitcher. Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners is a center fielder. We have a pitcher and a catcher from the Marlins. Sandy Alcantara is your pitcher, and Augustin Ramirez is your catcher. A pitcher and a right fielder from the Mets. Huáscar Brazoban is your pitcher, and Juan Soto is your right fielder. Yaramil Geraldo is an Orioles player. He's a pitcher. Manny Machado, your third baseman, and Wandy Peralta, your pitcher, are from the Padres, along with Fernando Tatis Jr., who's a right fielder. Johan Rojas and Christopher Sanchez are from the Phillies. Johan's your center fielder and Christopher's your pitcher. Onel Cruz is a center fielder. Johan Ramirez is a pitcher. Dennis Santana is a pitcher. And Gregory Soto is a pitcher, all from the Pirates. The Rays have Junior Caminero, a third baseman, and Edwin Uceta, a pitcher. Brian Bayo is your pitcher from the Red Sox. Juan Mejia from the Rockies is a pitcher. Carlos Estevez from the Royals is a pitcher. Sir Anthony Dominguez is from the White Sox. He's a pitcher. Yeri de los Santos is from the Yankees. He's a pitcher. Camilo Doval is another pitcher from the Yankees. The Yankees also have third baseman Ahmed Rosero and catcher Austin Wells. And that is your Dominican Republic team. Now, for your Great Britain team. Nair Victor is from the Angels. He's a pitcher. Willis Cresswell is a catcher for the Blue Jays. Miles Langhorne is a pitcher for the Brewers, along with Jack Seppings. Matt Kopernick is a left fielder for the Cardinals. B.J. Murray is a third baseman for the Cubs. Christian Robinson is a left fielder for the Diamondbacks. Antonio Knowles is a pitcher for the Dodgers. Tristan Beck is a pitcher for the Giants. Ian Lewis is second baseman, and Michael Peterson is a pitcher, both for the Marlins. Harry Ford is a catcher for the Nationals. Ryan Long is a pitcher for the Orioles. Gary Gill-Hill is a pitcher for the Rays, along with Owen Wild. Jack Anderson is a pitcher for the Red Sox, along with Nate Eaton, a third baseman. Evan Johnson is second base for the Reds. Brendan Beck is a pitcher for the Yankees, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. is a second baseman for the Yankees. I watched their game yesterday against Mexico, and the announcer kept calling Nate Eaton Nathan Eaton. Sir, as a fan, I don't know where this Nathan extra syllable is coming from. I'm sure it probably is his first full name. But that is Nate Eaton, and that is all I know him as. And the entire game, their graphics said Nate Eaton. I don't know where this man got Nathan from. It's okay, I'll move on. Your Israel team. RJ Schreck from the Blue Jays is a center fielder. CJ Stubbs is a catcher from the Blue Jays. The Cardinals have outfielder Zach Levinson and third base Noah Medlinger. Jake Gial from the Dodgers plays third base. Harrison Bader is a left fielder from the Giants. Ryan Prager is a pitcher for the Guardians. Charlie Bellinson is a pitcher for the Mariners. The Mets have 4 pitchers: Josh Blum, Jordan Gieber, Benjamin Simon, Robert Stock. Matt Mervis is a first baseman for the Nationals. Dean Kremer is a pitcher for the Orioles. Josh Melitz is a pitcher for the Padres. The Phillies have a pitcher and catcher duo, Max Lazar and Garrett Stubbs. Spencer Horitz is a first baseman for the Pirates. Cole Carrig is a first baseman. Troy Johnston is an outfielder for the Rockies, both of them. Eli Morgan is a pitcher for the Royals. Carlos Lecuriza is a pitcher for the Tigers. Matt Bowen is a pitcher for the Twins, and Harrison Cohen is a pitcher for the Yankees. Your Italy team. Sam Aldergiri is a pitcher for the Angels, along with Camden Minnesy. Zach DeZenzo is a left fielder for the Astros. Andrew Fisher is a third baseman for the Brewers. The Cardinals have pitcher Gordon Graceffo and second baseman Thomas Sagessis. Guardians have a pitcher duo, Dylan DeLuca. It's Dylan DeLuca and Matt Festa. The Mariners have a right fielder, Dominic Cazone, along with third baseman Miles Mastrobuoni. Wow, that's really close to a different word. Jacob Marcy is a center fielder for the Marlins. Mets have a pitcher and a center fielder, Joe Jacks and Nick Morabito. The Padres have a pair of pitchers, Alec Jacob and Ron Maraschino Cherry. The Phillies have a pitcher, Aaron Nola, and outfielder, Dante Nori. Alessandro Ercolani is a Pirates pitcher, along with Joe La Sorsa and Kyle Nichols. Greg Weissert from the Red Sox is a pitcher. Michael Lorenzen is a pitcher from the Rockies. Jack Caglione is a right fielder for the Royals. Vinny Pasquantino is a first baseman for the Royals. The Twins have pitcher Dan Altavia. Sam Antonacci is from the White Sox. He's a shortstop, along with Kyle Teal, who is a catcher for the White Sox. Wow, Italy, your names were so much worse than I was expecting. I'm going to have to go Google how to pronounce some of these. Your Japan team. Yusei Kikuchi from the Angels is a pitcher. Tatsuya Imai from the Astros is another pitcher. Kazuma Okamoto is a third baseman from the Blue Jays. Saya Suzuki is a right fielder from the Cubs. Shohei Ohtani is from the Dodgers. He is a pitcher and a hitter. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is also from the Dodgers. He's a pitcher. Shinosuke Agasawara is a pitcher from the Nationals. Yuku Matsu is a pitcher from the Padres. Masataka Yoshida is an outfielder for the Red Sox. And Unitaka Murakami is a third baseman for the White Sox. Now, you would think that I would struggle more with the Japanese names because of all of the letters and how different they are from American names. No, I'm out here struggling with the Italian names. Y'all are just named after pastas. Korea. Shea Whitcomb is a left fielder from the Astros. Riley O'Brien is a pitcher from the Cardinals. Hae-Sung Kim is a second baseman from the Dodgers. Young-Hoo Lee is a center fielder for the Giants. Dane Dunning is a pitcher for the Mariners. Woo Suk-go is a pitcher for the Tigers. And Jahmai Jones is a right fielder for the Tigers. Now we've got Team Mexico. This is who I will be rooting for. Sammy Natera Jr. is a pitcher from the Angels. Joey Meneses is a first baseman from the Athletics. Alejandro Kirk is a catcher for the Blue Jays. Joey Ortiz is a shortstop for the Brewers. Luis Gastelum is a pitcher for the Cardinals. Javier Assad is a pitcher for the Cubs. Alec Thomas is the Diamondback center fielder. Randy Rosarena is the left fielder for the Mariners, along with Andre Munoz, who's a pitcher for the Mariners. Jared Serna is a shortstop for the Marlins. The Mets have two pitchers, Alice Carrillo and Daniel Duratz. Nestor German is the pitcher for the Orioles. Omar Cruz is the pitcher for the Padres, along with Victor Lizarraga. Alan Rangel is the pitcher for the Phillies, along with Tyon Walker. Nick Gonzalez is second baseman for the Pirates. Robert Garcia is pitcher for the Rangers, and Alejandro Osuna is left fielder for the Rangers. Jonathan Aranda is the first baseman for the Rays. Jarren Duran is the left fielder for the Red Sox, although he is playing right field during this tournament. Irvin Machuca is the pitcher for the Reds. The Rockies have two pitchers, Brendan Bernardino and Victor Vodnik. Now for Team Netherlands. Ozzy Albies plays for the Braves. He's a second baseman. Jurickson Profar is a left fielder, and Chadwick Trump are the catcher, also for the Braves. The Diamondbacks have center fielder Drew Jones and pitcher Jaiton Kelly. Chandrik Aduber is a pitcher for the Dodgers. Dason Crowes is an outfielder for the Giants. Dylan Wilson is a pitcher for the Mariners. Jamdrick Cornelia is a pitcher for the Mets. Xander Bogaerts is shortstop for the Padres. Jaden Stanista is a pitcher for the Phillies. Antoine Kelly is a pitcher for the Pirates. Ceddanne Rafaela is a center fielder for the Red Sox. Terry Mirai is a pitcher for the Reds. Brandon Herbold he's a baseman of some sort for the Royals. Kenley Jansen is a pitcher for the Tigers. Team Nicaragua. Ismael Mongia is an outfielder for the Blue Jays. The Brewers have 2 pitchers, Steven Cruz, Carlos Rodriguez, and shortstop Freddie Zamora. Mark Vientos is third baseman for the Mets. Oscar Rayo is a pitcher for the Royals, and Duke Hebert is a pitcher for the Tigers. Team Puerto Rico. Matthew Lugo is a left fielder for the Angels. Carlos Cortez is left fielder for the Athletics. Third baseman Darrell Hernandez is from the Athletics. Jose Barros is pitcher for the Blue Jays. Brian Torres is the Cardinals outfielder. Yaxel Rios is a pitcher for the Cubs. Nolan Arenado is a third baseman from the Diamondbacks. Edwin Diaz is a pitcher for the Dodgers. Helio Ramos is a left fielder for the Giants. Jose Espada is a pitcher for the Orioles, along with Rico Garcia. Luis Vasquez is a shortstop for the Orioles. The Rangers have 2 pitchers, Alexis Diaz, Ricardo Velez, and the Red Sox also have 2 pitchers, Giovanni Moran and Eduardo Rivera. Edwin Arroyo is shortstop for the Reds. Willie Castro is left fielder for the Rockies. Seth Lugo is a pitcher for the Royals. Luis Quinones is a pitcher for the Twins. The Yankees have 2 pitchers, Fernando Cruz and Elmer Rodriguez. We're almost done, guys. We're almost there. Team Panama. James Gonzalez is a pitcher for the Athletics. Leo Jimenez is shortstop for the Blue Jays. Javi Guerrero is pitcher for the Braves. Leo Bernal and Ivan Herrera are catchers for the Cardinals. Miguel Amaya is a catcher for the Cubs. Christian Bethancourt is first baseman for the Cubs, and Aaron Rodriguez is a pitcher for the Cubs. The Guardians have pitcher Logan Allen. Abdel Mendoza is a pitcher for the Mariners. Jose Ramos is a center fielder for the Mets. Enrique Bradfield Jr. is a center fielder for the Orioles. The Padres have pitcher Miguel Cienfuegos. Edmundo Sosa is a second baseman for the Phillies, and Jose Caballero is shortstop for the Yankees. 2 teams left, the U.S. and Venezuela. For your U.S. team, the Blue Jays have third baseman Ernie Clement and pitcher Jeff Hoffman, along with pitcher Tyler Rogers. The Brewers have second baseman Bryce Terang. Matthew Boyd is a pitcher for the Cubs. Alex Bregman is a third baseman for the Cubs. As of this season, he used to be a Red Sox. Pete Crow Armstrong is a center fielder for the Cubs. Corbin Carroll is an outfielder for the Diamondbacks, although he is injured, so that is where Roman Anthony from the Red Sox is coming in to replace him. Will Smith is a catcher for the Dodgers. Logan Webb is a pitcher for the Giants. The Mariners have catcher Cal Raleigh and pitcher Gabe Spear. Did you hear how southern my voice got on Cal Raleigh? I have the hardest time pronouncing his name for something. I like saying Cal Riley is how I like to say it, but it's Cal Raleigh. Anyway, the Mets have 2 pitchers, Clay Holmes and Nolan McLean. Shortstop for the Orioles is Gunnar Henderson. Mason Miller is a pitcher for the Padres. The Phillies have first baseman Bryce Harper, pitcher Brad Keller, and left fielder Kyle Schwarber. Paul Skeens from the Pirates is a pitcher. The Rays have 2 pitchers, Garrett Clevenger and Griffin Jacks. Again, Roman Anthony's an outfielder for the Red Sox, and Garrett Whitlock is a pitcher for the Red Sox. The Royals have 2 pitchers, Matt Strahm and Michael Wacha, along with shortstop Bobby Witt Jr. Tarek Skubal is a pitcher for the Tigers, along with Will Vest. Brian Buxton is center fielder for the Twins, and Joe Ryan is pitcher for the Twins. The Yankees have 2 pitchers, David Bednar and Tim Hill, and of course, the right fielder, Aaron Judge. Oh, captain, my captain. And your final WBC team, Venezuela. Andre Jimenez is a second baseman from the Blue Jays. Ronald Acuna Jr. is right fielder for the Braves. The Brewers have center fielder Jackson Chourio and William Contreras. He's a catcher, along with pitcher Angel Zerpa. Daniel Palencia is a pitcher for the Cubs. Eduardo Rodriguez is a pitcher for the Diamondbacks. Christian Suarez is the third baseman from the Dodgers. We have infielder Luis Reyes from the Giants and pitcher Jose Butome. The Mariners have 2 pitchers, Edward Bizarro and Jonathan Diaz. The Marlins have second base player Javier Sanoa. Carlos Guzman is a pitcher from the Mets. Jose Alvarado and Jesus Luzardo are pitchers for the Phillies. Odinir Mosqueda is a pitcher for the Pirates. Yoendris Gomez is a pitcher for the Rays. The Red Sox have right fielder Willie Abreu, first baseman Wilson Contreras, and pitcher Ranger Suarez. Eugenio Suarez is third baseman for the Reds. Antonio Senzatala is a pitcher for the Rockies. Esquiel Tovar is shortstop for the Rockies. The Royals have a pitcher Luinder Avila and third baseman Michael Garcia, along with catcher Salvador Perez. The Tigers have two pitchers, Emmanuel De Jesus and Kader Montero, along with second base player Gleyber Torres. And the Twins have two pitchers, Pablo Lopez and Eduardo Salazar. Guys, I did it. That is all of your MLB players on the WBC country teams. We've got one more segment today. As of 9:54 on March 7th, Eastern Standard Time, I have your scores for the first few games of pool play between the teams. The Chinese Taipei lost 0-3 against Australia on Wednesday, March 4th. Thursday the 5th, Czechia lost 4-11 to Korea, and Australia won against Czechia 5-1. On March 6th, Japan beat the Chinese Taipei 13-0. Cuba won 3-1 against Panama. Venezuela won 6-2 against the Netherlands. Mexico won 8-2 against Great Britain. Puerto Rico won 5-0 against Colombia. The Dominican Republic won 12-3 against Nicaragua. The U.S. won 15-5 against Brazil. And the Chinese Taipei won 14-0 against Czechia. Today, Colombia will be playing Canada. Nicaragua will be playing the Netherlands. Brazil versus Italy. Panama versus Puerto Rico. Israel versus Venezuela. Great Britain versus the U.S. The Chinese Taipei against Korea. And yesterday, or this morning, Japan won 8-6 against Korea. So as of right now, Puerto Rico and Cuba are both 1-up against Canada, who's not yet played, but Panama and Colombia are both down 1. Mexico and the U.S. are up 1 against Great Britain and Brazil, who are down 1, and Italy has not played yet. Australia is up 2, Japan is up 1, the Republic of Korea is up 1, and the Chinese Taipei is down 2, up 1, to Czechia, who is down 3. Venezuela and Dominican Republic are up 1, Israel has not played, and the Netherlands and Nicaragua are down 1. So again, the top 2 teams who have the highest win percentage will move on to the next round of competition. And I think that is all that you need to know for this WBC before it kicks off this weekend. I'm editing this episode as fast as possible so I can get it out to you to listen to it before the rest of the games happen. Because you need to know this stuff before the tournament and not afterwards. Because none of this stuff is relevant after the games are played. All before. So I'm going to stop yapping right now. Right? I hope all of you guys had a lovely time listening. If it was not a little chaotic. Be sure to write an email, leave a voicemail, check out the TikTok and the Instagram, leave a DM, do all the social media things, and I'll see you next week. Okay, bye. Consider class dismissed. That's how I'm supposed to end these. Welcome to the extra credit portion of the episode. Thanks for listening to this episode, and here are some other podcasts or resources if you decided subject baseball isn't really for you. If you're looking for Red Sox media specifically, besides the tens of TV shows and movies out there, the Section 10 podcast talks statistics, and they post an episode after each series. You can listen to anywhere you get your podcasts, but I think it's funnier to watch these guys on YouTube. The NESN reporters do a podcast called 310 to Left, and there's also the Fenway Rundown. 310 is found on the NESN YouTube channel, but you can also listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Fenway Rundown can be found on the Mass Live YouTube or anywhere you listen to your podcasts. For more casual sports information, check out Katie Nolan. She has a SiriusXM podcast and a YouTube channel where she posts her shorter videos. While she's not sports specifically, and she's all things Philly, Kylie Kelsey's podcast Not Gonna Lie shines the light on women in sports if you're looking for some female empowerment. Baseball Explained is a channel on YouTube with shorter explanation videos on a variety of baseball topics. Baseball is Dead, Foul Territory, and Baseball Today are the most popular podcasts when you search baseball on Spotify. There's also Mookie Betts' podcast called On Base with Mookie Betts. Feel free to share other baseball or sports podcasts down in the comments for our new fan friends. And thanks again for listening to Subject Baseball.